Welcome to UJ Facilities. Please take note of the following safety message.
During an emergency, the alarm will be activated.
On hearing the alarm, evacuate through the nearest escape doors indicated by way of signage. Follow the safety signs to the assembly point.
Protection services staff, safety officers, and marshals will assist with the evacuation.
Assist people with disabilities.
Do not use lifts at any time during the evacuation.
Report any person injured or trapped to protection services.
Stay at the assembly point till instructed to leave.
UJ Management wishes you a safe stay at UJ.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chancellor of the University of Johannesburg welcomes you to this graduation ceremony. Due to security reasons, you are requested not to leave the auditorium before the end of the proceedings. Please note that photos and videos must be taken from your seats. Please do not get up and walk around inside the auditorium. As soon as the procession leaves the auditorium, you are requested to rise and remain standing until the procession and guests of honor have left the auditorium. A kind yet important request. Please only applaud after the student's name has been read out, and only applaud until the student has been capped, in order to give other graduates the opportunity to have an audible readout of their names. Please also note that no whistles are allowed for applause, only clapping of hands and ululating. A final request. If you have a cell phone in your possession, please switch it off or put it on silent. Ladies and gentlemen, the procession will now enter the auditorium. You are requested to rise and remain standing until the members of the procession have taken their seats.
Good afternoon. Are you still tense? Dumelang. Sanbonan. Lokobere. Leperil. Molwen. You see now. Now we can start. Ele ga ke tlhompha matla a o ke filwe gona. Jwale ke thea phuthego ye go ba ya semolaong University ya Johannesburg. By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now constitute this meeting as a lawful congregation of the University of Johannesburg. You may be seated.
Another bigger round of applause for our UJ multi-award winning choir. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You always do us great. Chancellor, Executive Dean, Prof. Daniel Mashau of the Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment, members of Senate and academics, graduates, guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Council, the Executive Leadership Group, and the staff of the University of Johannesburg, I welcome all our graduates and guests to this graduation ceremony. Today is a momentous occasion for you and your loved ones. Graduations symbolize both endings and beginnings, reminding us of our past and our dreams for the future. Shall we give a big round of applause to our graduates in congratulating them? Graduates, your achievement is worthy of celebration indeed, regardless of where you are or what the future holds for you. Our Chancellor, Dr. Pumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, has on various occasions reflected on the transformative power of education in creating opportunities, in advancing gender equality, and in furthering societal development. In the context of our nation, your accomplishment carries considerable weight. Many of you here are first-generation graduates, making this achievement even more significant. Your graduation represents the dreams of many, including those who supported you. Shall we give a round of applause to the people that supported you, because you didn't walk this journey alone? The University of Johannesburg, established in 2005 as part of the post-apartheid transformation of the South African higher education landscape, has rapidly emerged as a beacon of hope, academic excellence, and innovation. In just 20 years, our university has achieved remarkable milestones, including securing prominent positions in global university rankings, a testament to its commitment to quality education and research. With an unwavering focus on shaping a better future, UJ has adopted its Strategic Plan 2035, which emphasizes societal impact, making a difference, and also emphasizing the integration of technologies for the future in building our society. This visionary approach underscores our university's dedication to driving sustainable development and equipping graduates to thrive in a rapidly evolving world where they'll tap opportunities in this new dispensation, the technological era. Amidst today's celebrations, remember that you graduates are among the few that are fortunate to have this opportunity. Your graduation, therefore, carries the promise that you will share your knowledge to enrich and deepen our democracy. It serves as a reminder of our nation's shortcomings and provides us with the tools to address these shortcomings for the betterment of society. Our university has been leading in the field of digital transformation. UJ was the first South African university to award certificate secured by blockchain technology. Graduates, you also have access to our digital certificate system where you can download your digital certificate free of charge. The system further gives you access to a personalized digital badge which you can place on LinkedIn and other social media to securely showcase your achievement. We also welcome you as a new member of our global alumni community. On the Alumni Connect platform, you can connect with other graduates, view employment offerings, and connect with possible mentors. So your journey with us does not end here. In closing, as the African proverb goes, wealth, if you use it, comes to an end, but learning, if you use it, increases. Congratulations on this significant achievement. We look forward to cheering you along as you explore new paths and vistas. Ke a leboga. Thank you, Siyabonga, Baya Danki. Chancellor, I now request the Executive Dean, Prof. Daniel Mashao, to introduce the Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment, and thereafter the candidates who complied with all the requirements for the respective qualifications.
Good afternoon. Chancellor, I now have the honor of introducing the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment. The Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment is home to over 10,000 students and contributes to 20% of UJ students. This is also the largest contact Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment in the country. On average, every year, we graduate over 3,000 students. The faculty is one of the 8 faculties and a college of the University of Johannesburg whose vision is to be a top international university of choice, anchored in Africa and the Global South, and dynamically shaping a sustainable future. We celebrate this year the University of Johannesburg 20th anniversary, noting that since inception, UJ has been consistently climbing all the rankings, reflecting a continuous improvement that is inculcated in its institutional DNA. UJ has been ranked in the top 5 universities in South Africa and in local and international rankings. The Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment is ranked in the top 3 of universities in South Africa. The mission of the faculty is to produce highly qualified engineers, technologists, quantity surveyors, and operational managers. We have 12 departments and 5 schools. The UJ strategic theme of technology for the future finds expression in the faculty. Annually, our curriculum is updated to take into cognizance of changes that are taking place in the society. Over 600 of our students' projects last year were in the area of artificial intelligence and societal impact. All our programs are accredited by 5 external professional bodies, including the Engineering Council of South Africa. This means a UJ qualification meets local and international quality standards. A UJ engineer is recognized as an engineer throughout the world. The faculty has demonstrated its relevance of its education, and several projects were undertaken by the faculty for societal impact. We are aware of the 40-40-40 concept in South Africa, where most of our people live in 40 square meter houses. They live in places that are 40 kilometers away from their work and spend 40% of their income on transportation costs. We believe that we can implement solutions to challenge this problem. For example, 2 years ago, we launched the 3D printing of RDP houses, and now we are working on converting petrol vehicles to electric-powered ones. We are anchored in this continent, and we see ourselves as part of the solutions. Last year, we launched a virtual mine in our Doornfontein campus. This enables us to teach our students about mining without being in an actual mine. As a mining saying goes, whatever is not grown is mined. Mining will continue to be an important part of our growing our economy. We continue to believe in a vision of making an impact to the society and using teaching and research to achieve this goal. We believe the faculty has demonstrated this commitment and continues to do so. Today, we wish to congratulate our graduates. We know that there was a lot of hard work, a lot of cross-nighting, and caffeine consumption. You have made it, and congratulations. Thank you. Chancellor, I will now introduce candidates who have complied with all the requirements for the respective qualifications in order for you to confer or award such qualifications.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I will now confer and award the respective qualifications on the candidates introduced to me by the Executive Dean and to the candidates who are absent but who have complied with all the requirements for the qualifications. Kragtens die bevoegdhede aan my toevertrou, sal ek nou aan die kandidaate wat deur die uitvoerende dekaan aan my voorgestel word, sowel as aan die kandidaate wat aan al die vereistes vir die kwalifikasies voldoen het, maar wat afwesig is, die kwalifikasies toeken.
Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Engineering Technology on the following candidates. Sibusiso Thabo Kabo. Minenhle Sfisokuhle Kumalo. Sibonga impilo Mvelo Khuzwayo. Congratulations. Siyabonga Senzo Kubeka. Rebotile Angela Mahoa. Siyabonga Makanya. Thank you. Nhlanhla Bonginkosi Makubu. Congratulations. Nkwadile Hector Malakapatla. Inos Mashabani. Komotso Nkateko Matebula. Ntwanano Matebula. Sizakele Nonhle Mbatha. Nhluvuko Mkansi. Thabo Bobby Mukwetsi. Nompumelelo Thembu. Munei Cyprian Mudau. Panashe Mupombera. Sikholiwe Ndaba. Sandiso Mbongeseni Ndimande. Mulalo Bopsi Ndo. Ronewa Netanani. Unesiwe Nogula. Sello Radebe. Tando Vuzimuzi Blessing Sambo. Siphethuxolo Njingalwazi Vuko. Spelele Warrant Zondi. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Urban and Regional Planning on the following candidates. Raiki Mike Hlongwane. Itumeleng Mukwena. Tulani Msweli. Leto Kuhle Ngwenya. Mukhetwa Rachidi. Nape Believer Ribani. Okay, let's just look at. Meida Nkateko Sibinde. Let's look at that guy. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Science in Construction on the following candidates. Franz Lisiba Machete. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Engineering in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on the following candidates. Preshen Chetty. Simamkele Momoza. Congratulations. Fumulani Mpepu. Congratulations, Chief. Glory Kimwamba Mwamba. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Engineering Technology Honors on the following candidates. Tandanani Vumani Mtembu. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Master of Philosophy on the following candidates, and on this particular candidate with distinction, Louisa Jean Shofat. Kanya Joey with distinction. Congratulations, Mama. Gloria Hombakazi Khoza. Katleho Pimelo Makabi. Abiba Vumilia Mutija. Mpo Nedambale. Tlabishi Peter Ntwana. Kennedy Pasha. Hofaone Imelda Tsile with distinction. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Master of Science on the following candidates, and on this candidate in particular, with distinction, Tinyiko Vivian Baloyi. Tato Caleb Mabota with distinction. Motebang Daniel Matsela with distinction. Neliswa Zeketelo Mnube with distinction. Puitumelo Raisecha Mohasho. Linki Teboho Mukonoto with distinction. Rotsizwa Mugaga. Jacqueline Kokutenza Nshunju with distinction. Wealthy Tlangelani Shirinda with distinction. Kisimusi Prince Sibitani with distinction. Lebohang Joseph Tau with distinction. Queenette Temba with distinction. Tim Kayembe wa Tise KAD with distinction. Spumelele Ishmael Zondi with distinction. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Master of Engineering on the following candidates: Bongani Bramwell Kubai, Swelihle Jubilant Mabani, Muluko Leslie Mafefe, Musa Maluleke with distinction. Tsizo Linda Manyaga. Tebogo Mashego. Congratulations. Congratulations, Chief. Kamuhelo Phineas Mukwena. Zanele Daphne Mtembu. Congratulations. Congratulations. Matiza Lusani Mutambi with distinction. Congratulations. Divakshan Denolin Naika. Congratulations. Ujefa Ahmed Nisara Ahmed Qureshi. Lerato Senukwane. Pamela Zita with distinction. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Master of Philosophy on the following candidates. Miehleketo Shabalala. How are you? Feeling good? You should. Priti Tapiwa Chifamba. Jan Adrian de Camper. Congratulations. Pitsi Nteteku Edward Mapeka. Rashaka Mapahela. Congratulations, Chief. Tebogo Enoch Meti. Kiabetswe Abisage Mohotsi. Congratulations. Jason Naidu. Congratulations. Lehlohonolo Rabotso. Congratulations. Congratulations, Chief. Reprimand Sehodi. Thank you. Thank you. Sidima Velembo. Congratulations. Spelele Innocent Zibula. You first. How do you say your second name? Okay. I want you to look at him. Okay. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Lucky Ogenechoja Daniel, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Electrical and Electronic Engineering with a thesis entitled Federated Learning Empowered Interference Management in 5G Ultra-Dense Networks. This was prepared under the supervision of Professor Ghanshyam Singh and co-supervision of yours truly, Professor Daniel Mashao and Dr. Olubkani. I will now read the abstract of the study. Do you have it? Okay. I will ask the supervisor to read the abstract of the study.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There are several people that are qualified to read this abstract. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. The candidate's research focused on the application of data science techniques, particularly on distributed artificial intelligence, to resolve interference problems in next-generation communication systems. The proposed research use case is on applying data privacy-preserving techniques, namely federated learning for interference management in 5G ultra-dense networks. Recently, the 5G communication technology has witnessed massive data support and frequency surge compared to its preceding generations through the densification techniques available to one of its underlying techniques. The emergence of ultra-dense networks, a technology that boosts the performance of 5G telecommunication networks, has introduced significant throughput loss due to network interference. This research presented distinct solutions to the various types of network interference management. The goal of the study was to use data augmentation techniques for resource allocation improvement, improvement of energy efficiency, and interference management in 5G communication networks.
Chancellor, I will now request you to confer the degree PhD in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on Lucky Daniel. Don't go. Okay.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on Lucky Ogenechoja Daniel.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Godfred Fobiri, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Construction Management with a thesis entitled A Framework to Apply Reality Capture Technology for Interim Payment Valuation of Construction Projects in South Africa. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Professor Innocent Musonda and co-supervision of Dr. Ev Muleya. I will now request the supervisor to read the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, the thesis developed a framework to apply reality capture technology for interim payment valuation of construction projects. The study identified interim payment valuation challenges in the South African construction industry, including delayed and disputed payment claims attributed to inaccurate progress valuations, lack of transparency, and potential fraud. These issues highlight the need for reliable and verifiable site data. Through an extensive literature review, the candidate developed a reality capture interim payment valuation workflow, integrating reality capture technologies into the IPV process, which was then refined using expert opinion and validated with a two-stage multi-case study on 6 live construction projects for the development of the RRC IPV framework. This research advances the understanding of integrating reality capture technology with interim payment valuations preparation, therefore bridging gaps in construction management literature. The study demonstrates the practical application of reality capture technology in enhancing IPV processes, providing empirical evidence that reality capture technology can enhance accuracy, transparency, and efficiency in interim payment valuations preparation. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Construction Management on Godfred Fobiri.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Construction Management on Godfred Fobiri. Congratulations. Can I shake your hand?
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Joshua Gerrick Govia Asafra, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Engineering Management with a thesis entitled From Technique to Performance, Understanding the Human Factors Driving Shovel Operator Productivity in Surface Mining. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Professor Manewick and co-supervision of Professor Mativenga. I will now ask the supervisor to read out the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, Josh's doctoral research made the original contribution to enhance operational performance and safety in service mining. Through a social technical systems approach, Josh PhD made original contributions to the optimization of mining productivity with a particular emphasis on the role of equipment operators. Drawing on extensive multi-year mining data sets, his research uncovered new insights into digging and loading styles that consistently outperform in terms of productivity. In addition, Josh's work contributes original strategies to counteract the impact of seasonality on mining performance. His research not only redefined best practices guidelines for operator technique, but also break new grounds by developing a multi-instrument framework for assessing stress and managing psychosocial risk, an often overlooked dimension in mining operations, by integrating both the human and technical factors. His work drives measurable improvements in mining productivity while promoting the health and safety and well-being of workers. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Engineering Management on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering Management on Joshua Garrick Govia Asafrau.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Shastri Vinesh Jairam, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Electrical and Electronic Engineering, with a thesis entitled Stochastical Resonance Spectrum Sensing and Inference Management for Dynamic Spectrum Access Cognitive Radios. This was prepared under the supervision of Professor Hamez Wahada and co-supervision of Professor Raima and Professor Mikuria. I will now request the supervisor to read the abstract of the study.
Chancellor. The candidate has developed a stochastically resonant spectrum sensing technique to improve the detection of weak radio signals by cognitive radios in dynamic spectrum access networks. This technique includes built-in interference management features. By combining different types of additive and multiplicative stochastically resonant noise, the candidate created 18 spectrum sensors models. These models take into account signal propagation, background radio noise, and multi-user interference, which together establish a natural buffer known as an interference breathing margin. This approach shows strong potential not only for controlling interference, but also for using it to improve network performance. It can benefit various applications, including TV white space networks, emergency and disaster recovery systems, municipal services, educational outreach, and rural development projects. Part of this research have already been submitted, published, and presented at several IEEE conferences and in journals reflecting its value and impact. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on Shastri Vinesh Jairam.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on Shastri Vinesh Jairam.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Nishan Kishore, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Engineering Management, with a thesis entitled Impact of Industry 4.0 on Management, Managerial Workforce, and Technological Integration of Organizations. This was prepared under the supervision of Professor Jan Haram Pretorius and co-supervision of Dr. Chattopadhyay. I will now request the supervisor to read out the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, the candidate conducted research on how organizations must adapt leadership strategies to harness emerging technologies while also embracing the values and expectations of the millennial workforce. His research bridges the gap, academic rigor with real-world application, assisting leaders to shape agile, innovative, and inclusive workplaces in the fourth industrial revolution. The study uncovered critical gaps between traditional management practices and the digital expectations of younger professionals, calling for a shift towards more collaborative and technology-enabled leadership models. He also proposed a framework for successful technology adoption that aligns organizational culture with the pace of Industry 4 innovation. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Engineering Management on Nishan Kishore.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering Management on Nishan Kishore.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Etheldrida Tricia Copper, who has complied with all the requirements of the degree PhD in Construction Management, with a thesis entitled Sustainability Assessment Criteria for Renewable Energy Infrastructure Development Projects in South Africa. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Professor Innocent Musonda and co-supervision of Professor S.L. Zulu. I will now ask the supervisor to read out the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, the candidate's research addressed the sustainability of renewable energy infrastructure development projects in South Africa. She developed a sustainability assessment framework for the renewable energy in South Africa, centered around the economic, environmental, governance, and social well-being, sustainability goals, and South Africa's energy transition program. The framework contributes to knowledge in that it incorporates sustainable project management practices and stakeholder involvement as sustainability dimensions in the assessment of the infrastructure delivery process. Thus, the study offers a new conceptualization of sustainability in renewable energy infrastructure studies. The framework offers more comprehensive sustainability assessment criteria for renewable energy projects and ensures sustainability assessment for future developments. The study has resulted in journal and conference articles. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Construction Management on Etheldreda Trachea copper.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Construction Management on Etheldreda Trachea copper.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Ebenezer Mabota, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of PhD in Electrical and Electronic Engineering with a thesis entitled Modeling an Efficient Deployment of IoT Devices Using Dynamic RESTful API and Docker. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Dr. Mabunda and co-supervision of Professor Ali. I will now request the supervisor to read the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, Ebenezer Mabota's doctoral research focused on the challenges of deploying Internet of Things, IoT, devices in dynamic environments, where traditional IoT methods struggle with adaptability and data processing. In his study, Mr. Mabota developed a dynamic RESTful API framework integrated with Docker containerization, which facilitates management of IoT devices. His framework has been tested using modern IoT devices and systems, reducing deployment time and enhancing flexibility compared to conventional methods. His contribution provides a strong foundation for the managing of complex technological ecosystem, offering practical solutions for various industries such as medical technology, agri-tech, and digital transformed cities. Mr. Mabota has published his findings in 2 IEEE conference papers and 2 peer-reviewed journals. His work advances academic knowledge, encourages future IoT development, and influences progress in a variety of sectors. Nakensa. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on Ebenezer Mabota.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on Ebenezer Mabota.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Lucky Boy Teboho Makubedu, who has complied with all the requirements of the degree PhD in Operations Management, with a thesis entitled Modeling Productivity Improvement Systems for Small-Scale Enterprise, a South African brick industry perspective. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Professor Charles Mbowa and the co-supervision of Dr. Nelson Madonsela. I will now read the abstract of the study. Makubedu's doctoral research focused on developing a conceptual model that integrated a network of identified research contracts related to productivity improvement systems and value-adding drivers that brick manufacturing SMEs located within the province of Gauteng, South Africa, they can use for productivity growth. The study identified the input resource factor challenges that negated the application of systems and drivers for productivity growth of these enterprises. The study advances scholarly understanding of productivity improvement systems such as ergonomics, human research management, quality, business process management, and technology. The input resources factors involving human, physical, and technological capital factors, value-adding drivers, and productivity growth from a South African, African, and global context, while proposing a conceptual model that industries can use as a practical roadmap. The study contributes to the body of knowledge by blending systems, input resources, factors, and drivers for productivity growth of SMEs, thereby aligning it with global standards and observed local realities. Thank you. Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Operations Management on Lucky Boy Teboho Makubedu.
Thank you, thank you. By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Operations Management on Lucky Boy Teboho Makubedu.
Thank you. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Sinoti Duncan Mapumulo, who has complied with all the requirements of the degree PhD in Engineering Management with a thesis entitled Management of Technological Capabilities by Natural Gas Companies in Sub-Saharan Africa. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Professor Nell and co-supervision of Professor Jan Harem Pretorius. I will now request the supervisor to read the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, the research focused on developing an integrated technology transfer framework that natural gas companies in sub-Saharan Africa can use when sourcing required technologies to develop their technology capabilities based on technology transfer. Research methodology include conducting a literature review, a Delphi study, and surveys. Key components of the technology transfer framework were validated using exploratory factor analysis and hypothesis testing. Research findings include the technology receiving organization needs to perform 8 important activities to identify technology capability gaps. 2 underlying factors enable the success of the technology receiving organization in achieving the required technology capabilities, and 6 factors enable the success of the technology transfer project that the technology receiving organization undertakes to reduce its technological capability gaps. Natural gas companies can use a technology transfer framework to execute technology transfer projects that culminate in improved innovation performance of the natural gas entities and natural gas-based installations of sub-Saharan Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Engineering Management on Sinoti Duncan Mapumulo.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering Management on Sinoti Duncan Mapumulo.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Ngedo Sandile Maseko, who has complied with all the requirements of the degree PhD in Electrical and Electronic Engineering, with a thesis entitled Classification of Transformer Faults Using Frequency Response Analysis and Machine Learning Algorithms. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Dr. Tango and co-supervision of Dr. Mabunda. I will now request the supervisor to read out the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, Mr. Ngeto Sandles Masego's doctoral study addresses the early detection of faults in high voltage power transformers. Working with frequency response data gathered from South African utility equipment, he compared traditional diagnostic criteria with several supervised machine learning models and showed that the data-driven techniques can identify mechanical, dielectric, and thermal faults. They do this by detecting these faults more reliable than the current practice. So he also devised a data preparation step that fits directly into the routine frequency response test already carried out during maintenance, keeping the method practical and cost-effective for asset managers. The main findings are reported in the peer-reviewed journal Applied Sciences under the title Fault Detection in Power Transformers Using Frequency Response Analysis and Machine Learning Models. Mr. Masego's work contributes a replicable method for condition-based maintenance and strengthens the body of knowledge on intelligent asset management in electrical power systems. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on Ngedo Sandile Maseko.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on Ngedo Sandile Maseko. Congratulations.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Boy Johannes Mashabela, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Urban and Regional Planning, with a thesis entitled A Framework for Social Infrastructure Projects Delivery in the Public Sector, a Case of Gauteng Province, South Africa. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Professor Mahachi and co-supervision of Professor Gumbo and Professor Mpambukeli. I will now request the supervisor to read the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, Mashabela's doctoral research makes a timely and significant contribution to the field of public infrastructure management. His study focuses on optimizing the delivery of social infrastructure projects in the public sector, where delays, cost overruns, and inefficiencies remain persistent challenges. Anchored in the Gauteng context, his work critically evaluates the Infrastructure Delivery Management System, IDMS, and related frameworks, identifying key areas for improvement. The outcome is a practical optimization framework that introduces real-time performance tracking, strengthens stakeholder engagement, and promotes adaptive project management. It also incorporates digital monitoring tools, policy alignment mechanisms, and public-private partnerships to reduce inefficiencies and enhance accountability. Mashabela's framework offers a more holistic, responsive, and sustainability-driven approach to infrastructure delivery. His research is not only academically rigorous, but also deeply relevant to public policy and governance. It holds strong potential to improve the impact of social infrastructure initiatives across Gauteng and beyond. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Urban and Regional Planning on Boy Johannes Mashabela.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Urban and Regional Planning on Boy Johannes Mashabela.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Sabelo Tandokuhle Endrumchunu, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Engineering Management with a thesis entitled Business Process Re-Engineering Architecture in the South African Mining Industry. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Professor L. Pretorius and co-supervision of Professor Janharem Pretorius. I will now request the supervisor to read out the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, the candidate conducted research on systemic inefficiencies by developing an integrated framework that fuses business process reengineering and continuous process improvement methodologies. Employing a triangulated research approach, his study produced a context-specific artifact aimed at enhancing sustainability, cost efficiency, and performance across mining operations. The findings offer both novel scholarly contributions and practical insight, providing strategic solutions to revitalize one of South Africa's most critical economic industries. The candidate's work connects academic innovation and transformative industrial practice. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Engineering Management on Sabelo Tandokuhle Andrew Mchuru.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering Management on Sabelo Tandokuhle Andrew Mchuru.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Cindy Siwe Muhatusi, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Operations Management, with a thesis entitled The Implementation of Lean Six Sigma Framework for Operational Effectiveness and Waste Minimization in a Mechanical Workshop. This was prepared under the supervision of Professor Kapil Gupta and co-supervision of Dr. Chabalala. I will now request the supervisor to read out the abstract of the study.
Chancellor. Sindisiwe's study explored the application of Lean Six Sigma framework to enhance operational efficiency and reduce waste in the university mechanical engineering workshop. The workshop faced long-standing inefficiencies, which the study addressed by implementing Lean Six Sigma DMAIC methodology to transform the workshop's operations. Through interventions like 5S visual management, standardized work procedures, time studies, and continuous improvement tools such as the PDCA board and skills matrices, significant improvements were achieved in the workflow safety and resource utilization. Through this led to the engineering of a sustainable model that enhanced productivity and reduced waste. Sindisiwe's study filled a critical gap in literature by adapting industrial quality tools to an academic context and contributes a sustainable model for operational excellence in engineering education. 2 research articles have been published in high-impact journals, international journals. Well done.
Chancellor, I now request you, thank you. Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Operations Management on Sindisiwe Muhatusi.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Operations Management on Sindisiwe Muhatusi.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Sello Wonderboy Mullo, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Engineering Management with a thesis entitled A Framework for Outsourcing Maintenance in the Era of Industry 4.0 within the petrochemical industry. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Professor L. Pretorius and co-supervision of Professor Jan Haram Pretorius. I will now request the supervisor to read the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, the candidate's research provides a practical framework for outsourcing maintenance in the era of Industry 4.0 within the petrochemical industry. Understanding external factors that influence technology adoption is crucial for organizations aiming to implement new technologies effectively, especially in the era of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, 4IR. The integration of relevant external factors into a technology acceptance model allows for more accurate prediction of user acceptance and adoption. Industry 4.0 technologies such as Internet of Things, big data analytics, artificial intelligence, and cloud computing are transforming maintenance practices and strategies. The study's findings have important implications for policymakers and industry leaders as it provides evidence-based recommendations for optimizing maintenance processes through outsourcing. The research supports the development of policies that encourage innovation and the adoption of Industry 4.0 technologies in the petrochemical industry. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Engineering Management on Sello Wonderboy Mullo.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering Management on Sello Wonderboy Mullo.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Ramapulani Raymond Mpanya, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Urban and Regional Planning, with a thesis entitled A Framework for Land Use Planning and Adequate Housing Development for Low-Income Households in South Africa and Lesotho. This was prepared under the supervision of Professor Gumbo and Dr. Anatu and Dr. Ogra. I will now request the supervisor to read the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, the candidate's doctoral study was supported by URC International and focused on assessing the role of land use planning in the development of adequate housing for low-income households. The study was grounded in cross-national comparative analysis between Maseru, Lesotho, and Johannesburg, South Africa. The study sets itself apart from other cross-national comparative studies, providing a unique Southern African perspective. The research provides contextual similarities and differences to identify which land use planning and housing aspects are place-specific and what key practices can be drawn and transferred across each city. The research contributes to the development of a strategic framework for land use planning and adequate housing for low-income households. The framework was theorized through an extensive literature review and further validated through a narrative analysis and exploratory factor analysis. The framework emphasizes evidence-based and integrated coordination planning approaches in land use planning and for adequate housing development. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Urban and Regional Planning on Ramapulani Raymond Mpanya.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Urban and Regional Planning on Ramapulani Raymond Mpanya.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Dumisani Selby Nkambule, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Engineering Management with a thesis entitled Robust Machine Learning Approaches to Handle Low-Quality Credit Data. This was prepared under the supervision of Professor Twala and co-supervision of Professor Yanaram Pretorius. I will now request the supervisor to read the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, the candidate researched robust machine learning approaches to handle low-quality credit data. The study provides a framework for algorithm selection under data quality constraints, offering a roadmap for modernizing credit risk assessment systems. The thesis makes three contributions. First, the empirical robustness analysis provides crucial insight into algorithm performance under data quality constraints. Second, the systematic investigation of 120 ensemble combinations demonstrates that a strategic selection of 3 to 5 classifiers achieves optimal performance, challenging the conventional approach to maximize algorithm diversity. And thirdly, the application of generative adversarial networks to credit risk opens new frontiers in financial machine learning. Decision trees achieve 93% classification accuracy when enhanced with generative adversarial networks. These findings offering valuable advancements for risk assessment in financial institutions. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Engineering Management on Dumisani Selby Nkambule.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering Management on Dumisani Selby Nkambule.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Permit Matuhu Sekatani, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Electrical and Electronic Engineering with a thesis entitled Improving the Localization of Partial Discharge Sources by Integrating Convolutional Neural Network and Time Reverse Modeling. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Professor Bokoro. I will now request the supervisor to read out the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, this thesis addresses the limitations of traditional techniques for localizing partial discharges PD in power transformers, specifically under noisy conditions. Conventional methods such as dissolved gas analysis, ultrasonic techniques, and classical machine learning models like SVM that support vector machine and K nearest neighbors often suffer from noise sensitivity and limited adaptability across different transformer types. The study introduces a novel hybrid approach that combines convolutional neural networks, CNNs, with time reverse modeling, TRM. CNNs automatically extract spatial and temporal features from raw PD signals, while TRM enhances signal clarity and localization accuracy by reconstructing signal in reverse time. This integrated CNNTRM model significantly improves PD localization in terms of accuracy, robustness, and computational efficiency. The model is thoroughly evaluated against traditional method across various transformer types and noise levels, consistently outperforming them. The research has resulted in 2 high-impact journal publications highlighting both its academic value and practical relevance for transformer condition monitoring. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on Permit Matuhu Sekatani.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on Permit Matuhu Skata.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Grace Namayombo Suka, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of PhD in Construction Management, with a thesis entitled A Framework for the Ex-Post Evaluation of Social Sustainability of Public-Private Partnership Infrastructure Projects in South Africa. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Prof. Innocent Musonda and co-supervision of Prof. Ramabodu. I will now request the supervisor to read the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, through an exploratory sequential convergent parallel mixed methods design, the candidate's thesis developed a framework for the ex-post valuation of social sustainability of public-private infrastructure projects, PPPIPs, in South Africa. PPPIPs are implemented to provide positive societal impact. An ex-post evaluation allows for the assessment of the impact of PPPIPs on communities. However, globally, ex-post evaluations of PPPIPs are few and often neglect the social dimension of sustainable development, which negatively affects social sustainability. South Africa has operational PPP projects, yet there were no documented ex-post evaluation nor procedures that could be identified in the PPP frameworks. The framework was validated using the analytical hierarchy process, AHP, to determine the critical elements during ex-post evaluation. Overall, the framework prioritized people and their needs. The thesis recommends provisions for mandatory ex-post evaluation in South Africa's PPP frameworks and the publication of comprehensive, unbiased ex-post evaluation reports to promote learning. Thank you.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Construction Management on Grace Namayombo Suka.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Construction Management on Grace Namayombo Suka.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting LC Fezeka Swana, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree PhD in Electrical and Electronic Engineering with a thesis entitled A Data-Driven Approach for Condition Monitoring of a Wound Rotor Induction Generator using Unsupervised Machine Learning. This thesis was prepared under the supervision of Prof. Bokoro and Prof. Dosami. I will now request the supervisor to read out the abstract of the study.
Chancellor, this thesis tackles the challenge of imbalanced or scarce label data in online fault detection for wound rotor induction generators. It explores both supervised and unsupervised learning methods, incorporating resampling techniques such as modes and Tomek links to enhance classifier performance. Machine learning algorithms are combined with these techniques to improve classification accuracy with the SMOT, Tomek, and KNN combination yielding the best result. The study also investigates unsupervised anomaly detection using isolation first and local outlier factor, validating on simulated and experimental dataset. Additionally, long short-term memory, LSTM, models are applied to streaming time series data, highlighting their potential for real-time condition monitoring. Through thorough evaluation and experimental validation, the research shows strong practical relevance and methodological strength, laying a foundation for future developments in data-driven monitoring and offers scalable solutions to real-world challenges. The study has been published in one high-impact journal and 2 conference papers. Thank you.
Thank you. Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree PhD in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on LC Fezeka Swana.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Electronic Engineering on LC Fezeka Swana. What a befitting end to a fantastic day. For those who just see people dancing, some not dancing, vibrating. This is a beautiful song. It's an adaptation of a traditional Sotho wedding song. So yeah, le a ba utlwa Basotho. In the original song, it's a bride pleading with the father that the father must buy her a royal bridal blanket, Siana Maren. We play this song in our graduations because we believe that what we have witnessed today and the regalia that we have seen today is a perfect representation of these wonderful bridal blankets. And I like to say to the graduates that for today and today only, we will treat you like our wonderful brides. For today only. It's always a great pleasure to come to this kind of occasions in the functionary role of a chancellor and witness our graduates crossing the stage. It has been a wonderful experience, at least for me, although I must be the fittest man in the room. I did many sit-downs and stand-ups than any one of you, but it's for a good cause. I enjoyed every moment of it. Can we just give our graduates a final, real, good round of applause? As it has already been said, this was not an easy journey for you, but you did it. And you deserve every bit of the applause that you got today. You are here today because of your commitment and your hard work, but also because of the support of the people who kept you going. Your family, your friends, your loved ones, and your community have all invariably contributed towards your success today. So graduates, it's your turn now. Can you give the people here a big round of applause as a thank you? To graduate is a decisive milestone that sets one on a trajectory of empowerment. I must also emphasize the Vice Chancellor's words. This is indeed an impressive achievement. The grim truth is that many facets of our population are not afforded such opportunities. A 2021 report by the Department of Higher Education and Training indicates that just 6% of the South African population holds a degree. In our vast population, many do not make it into high school, let alone to matric, while less than 70% of the students who obtain matric with an exemption, or what we call a bachelor's pass these days, do enroll at a university. At the University of Johannesburg, we received more than 700,000 applications for only about 10,900 spaces for new students. And this picture is similar across all our institutions of higher learning. Although we are living through uncertain times and witnessing the world around us changing, we know that we have prepared you to navigate this terrain, and that you have a solid foundation upon which to build your future. We hope that you will use the knowledge acquired here to contribute towards solving societal problems. This year, the University of Johannesburg celebrates its 20th anniversary. And as we consider what the University of Johannesburg has achieved in just 20 years as a higher education institution, I know that you too, as graduates of this inspiring university, you will similarly go on to achieve significant milestones in your careers and in your lives. We look forward to seeing you grow professionally, intellectually, ethically, and as committed and respected global citizens. I wish to thank our academic staff and the support staff for the pivotal role they have played in your journey. Without their perseverance and commitment, you would not be here today. Can we also give our academics a big round of applause, please? Once again, congratulations on this tremendous achievement. Go out there and set an example as a graduate of this inspiring university. Be our best ambassadors and spread the word that UJ is an excellent place of learning. Remember to stay in touch by joining our alumni. We hope to see you again when furthering your studies and as an active alumni of our university. Ngiyaleboga badangi, ngiyabonga. Thank you very much. Stand for the singing of the national anthem. Before I let you go, Graduates, you have deserved every piece of celebration you have seen here today. I know that bigger celebrations still await later today. Whatever you do, wherever you do it, however you do it, please put safety first. Stay safe. We still love you. We don't want to hear stories tomorrow. But you have earned every bit of the celebration that's coming your way. Ele ga ke tlhompha maatla ao ke filwe go ona. Jwale ke phakalatsa phuthego ye ya University ya Johannesburg. By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now dissolve this congregation of the University of Johannesburg. You are requested to remain standing until the procession has left the venue. Thank you. Have a blessed evening.
Baby, sit